Hello everybody and welcome back to my journey, the series in which I take you along my path to gathering every Trackmania Track of the Day author medal. Starting us out in volume number 11 today, and for my 390th author medal, we have the track Samara, which was made by Phobiac, and it was the track of the day on April 23rd of 2024. Samara is a dirt track, and about 1,600 players have this author medal, so not the most difficult one in the world here. It took me 11 minutes to get, finishing with a 50.354. I thought this was a pretty good track, though the community did not think this. I gave it a ++, they gave it a neutral, which is a bit surprising. I think what caused this is the risky finish. It can be a little bit difficult to get into if you don't know the correct line, because if you go at it at the wrong angle, you're going to constantly come up short on the jump. So I think that was the cause of that. But you know, I didn't really have much of a problem with it. After a couple attempts at the finish, I figured out the line, really didn't have any problems with it, so overall a good track. My 391st author medal came on the track Electropolis, which was made by Fat in the Hat, and it was the track of the day on April 19th of 2024. Electropolis was another dirt track, and about 600 players have this author medal, so a bit more challenging here. It took me 40 minutes to get this one, finishing with a 44.325. I thought this was a good track, but it does contain a lot of no slides, which I don't particularly care for, and I do admit I'm a little bit skill checked on them, so that certainly does not help in that regard. But yeah, not the biggest fan of no slides, and you kind of need to at least get one, I feel, in order to get this author medal, so it can be a bit of a challenge, and that's kind of why this one took me as long as it did. My 392nd author medal came on the track Petitchamps, which was made by BMX, and it was the track of the day on April 9th of 2022. Petitchamps was a tech track, I suppose you can call it, and about 800 players have this author medal, so it's also going to be a fair bit challenging. It took me 28 minutes to get, finishing with a 41.328. Both the community and I did not care for this track, and the reason I didn't really care for it is because for the most part there's not a whole lot going on with this track, and then in the middle there's suddenly this very weird jump and a pretty terrible landing on that jump as well, and you're really just hoping to get a clean landing there. If you do, you probably get the author. If not, you're going to be restarting. My 393rd author medal came on the track Exile, which was made by Deadfish, and it was the track of the day on January 30th of 2021. Exile is a grass track that only about 600 players have the author medal on, so another fairly challenging one. It took me 14 minutes, finishing with a 53.058. So yeah, somewhat challenging author here, though I got this one rather quickly because I am much better at grass than pretty much any other surface at this point, so any grass tracks I'm going to get much quicker than most. As for the track itself, you know, it's a full speed-ish grass style, which is pretty overused at this point. I mean, it kind of goes for any basic style, I suppose, all pretty much overused, but particularly this style of grass, it's very hard to kind of differentiate yourself from the rest. Still a good track nonetheless. My 394th author medal came on the track Circuit Zanvoort, which was made by Vidi, and it was the track of the day on September 3rd of 2022. Circuit Zanvoort is a tech track that about 700 players have the author medal on. This one took me 21 minutes to get, finishing with a 50.835. Once again, both the community and I did not care for this track, and most real tracks that are put into the game just don't work particularly well, because obviously the cars just don't behave the same. As for this track itself, the opening drift, you almost have to perform a neo slide to do it properly, so that's not great. This upcoming turn right here, you have to like hit the edge of the road to get the drift there. Feels pretty terrible to drive, and honestly, after like 5 minutes of looking at this track, I just hated looking at it because the road is just pitch black, and then you have the super bright sky, and it was honestly hurting my eyes. My 395th author medal came on the track Tatsu, which was made by Nightwolf, and it was the track of the day on September 24th of 2021. Tatsu is a grass track, and only about 300 players have this author medal, so a fairly challenging one here. It took me 34 minutes to get, finishing with a 44.408. Unlike the previous track, both the community and I both really like this one, both giving it a ++, and if there's any track I'd recommend driving from today's video, it would be this one. It's pretty good. Obviously, I'm a bit biased towards grass, but yeah, a good track nonetheless. The only part I didn't particularly care for was in the opening part of this one underneath the waterfall. That part was pretty awkward to drive in, also pretty hard to keep gearing. My 396th author medal came on the track Vertigo 2, which was made by Madu, and it was the track of the day on April 16th of 2021. Vertigo 2 is a tech track that about 900 players have the author medal on. This one took me 17 minutes to get, finishing with a 41.395. This is a decent track for what it is, but I don't particularly care for tech, and then tech on the super weird angled drifts is also, kind of even lower on my scale. If you are going to drive this one, highly recommend driving it in camera 2, because camera 1 is going to be somewhat of a challenge, even more so than the track already is. My 397th author medal came on the track Oasis, which was made by Orego X, and it was the track of the day on August 9th of 2020. Oasis is a mixed track, and about 2,100 players have this author medal, so probably the easiest one of today's video, though it was not the shortest amount of time I spent on a track, coming in at 12 minutes, and I finished with a 57.743. This track was a little bit of a mixed bag for me. I did like some parts of this one, had good flow, it had good transitions. Other parts I found those things to be just okay, and it results in it just being a decent track. And it also kind of goes to show that, everyone has to start somewhere, because as it currently stands, Orego X has made some of my favorite tracks that I have played in this game, and this is probably one of the first few that they ever made, and it's also one that was an extremely early track of the day, almost releasing in the first month of the game. My 398th author medal came on the track John Dirt, which was made by TN Tree, and it was the track of the day on April 26th of 2024. John Dirt, like the name would suggest, is a dirt track, and about 1,400 players have this author medal. It took me just 5 minutes to get this one, and I finished with a time of 44.468. I thought this was a good track, but that's all about the praise I can give it, because it's pretty much forcing you into driving a single line, which in tracks I don't really find to be the most fun. Everyone's going to be doing the same exact thing, and any little bit of variation on this one is just going to cause you to crash. So yeah, you're driving the same lap every single time with only very minute differences. My 399th and final author medal in today's video came on the track Eclipse, which was made by Owanji, and it was the track of the day on October 11th of 2021. Eclipse is a dirt and tech track that about 1,100 players have the author medal on. This one took me just 9 minutes to get, finishing with a time of 50.107. For this being the last one today, I honestly don't have a ton to say about it. It's a fairly good track overall, and I'd say the only thing I didn't care for all that much was the risky finish. You're jumping into this pretty narrow entrance, and then it's kind of just a long box, which you're very easily going to hit one of the sides on, particularly the right side. That's going to cause a random amount of slowdown. Not that this caused me any particular problems getting the author, I still feel like it could have been better. And with that, we will conclude volume number 11 here today. Of course, if you're interested in driving any of the tracks you saw, there will be links in the description to all of them. As always, I hope you enjoyed today's video as well. If you did, be sure to like it and subscribe so you don't miss out on any in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next Sunday with volume number 12.